Once you have that sort of strategy, you're halfway there. You need to understand your customers' needs, number one, do a market analysis. What do my customers actually want? What's missing from what they're getting from the competitors? What are the competitors good at now? How are they winning at the moment? And how am I going to get above them? And then obviously you need to look at, what I call what you have within you. Now, what's my expertise? What's my resources? What's my budget? What's my assets? What makes me special, in other words. And also you also need to understand what's around you, what's coming, in terms of your competition. Obviously, you need to understand them, like I mentioned earlier. We also need to understand where's the gaps in the market. What can I do better, differently, and generally, win this market, make people are going to come to me when I can do that. And obviously, you need to understand what the threats are. A lot of people don't think they don't sort of want to consider what's coming down the line. What could destroy your customers' needs the way you see them? To give you an example, 3 years ago, if you ask anyone, what's the biggest problem coming, they'll be like, I don't know. And suddenly, COVID came, right? Everything suddenly went online, right? I'm saying, like, here's the point though. A lot of us had heard of the potential of a pandemic long before COVID came. We just never took it seriously, and we did nothing about it at all. It was in your strategy planning or analysis, at least, you have to consider every worst case scenario. People tend to look at political, social, economical, technology changes. Obviously, now you're going to have to add the global warming problem and the environmental problem and legal issues in whatever part of the world you're in. If you consider those and say, right, what could go wrong that's going to ruin my business? What could go right? That could open opportunities. These all feed into your strategy for your business. And in your strategy, you can have a vision of, we're going to try and get there by doing this, and here's what we're going to have to help us along the way. That is what builds a business. With that strategy, essentially, all you're doing is say, right, I'm going left, I'm going left, I'm going left, I'm going left. Are you there yet? I don't know. I'm still going left. Where's left? Left. Yeah, it sounds silly, but that's what people do essentially in business. I'm going west. I'm just going west. I'm just going west. Are you there yet? No, I don't know. How do I know when to get there? I'm just going west. Because you have no goal. You have no destination. You're just going west. It's ridiculous. Well, people do it every day, my friend. They do it every day. And they wonder why they fail. It's crazy. It's crazy. But it's the world we live in.
Thank you so much for that. I've got a few questions to ask you, but I can guarantee that
Please feel free.
we certainly will need to come back for it, because your point are so important. There are a lot of value here. If the right word is value, because if you don't have a target, if you don't aim for anything, how on earth are you going to know that you get that thing? It is not even possible. It doesn't enter into your consciousness, because you are not looking for, it's just like you are a man who is looking for a wife. Okay, no, you are not looking for a wife, actually. You are a man who thinks maybe you should have a wife, but you don't have any particular woman in mind. Then even a woman can be your best fit.
Yeah, well, I think it's a man who says, I want a partner. Anything can be your partner. Anything. I don't know. It sounds, but I'm saying that's what happens when you don't define what you want. I agree entirely.
All right, Eny, you do a lot of work around marketing, and I want to believe that small businesses are sort of the target that within your niche. Now, let me provoke you like this: why do small businesses need marketing?
Right. Oh, that's just a corker. Right. I love your questions because they make me think. Again, it sounds obvious to me. It's how do I explain it? That's what I love about your questions. Okay, so when a client comes to me, the first thing I do is talk about the things we talked about so far. Many of them. What's your strategy? Number one. That's the first thing we'll talk about. And literally, I haven't, and I probably met one or two in 7 years who've actually got something written down. The others just don't. And they don't understand the value. So I try and get them to understand that, if you have a strategy, then, like I said earlier, you can work out your departmental plans. If you know where you're going as a business, I can then see where marketing needs to help you to get to. Without a strategy, you're just asking me to do marketing in a vacuum. And like I say, you never know whether I'm doing well or not. The chances are, without a strategy and a plan, you're never going to be happy because you think on what you think on the day. Whereas I'd rather work to know that if let's say let's go back to our content example. If you write content and you say to me, right, Eny, you're doing my LinkedIn ads, my Facebook ads, my Google ads, and there's traffic to my websites, but they're not converting. Then we can at least look at your strategy and say, right, the first step was get people to come to the website. I'm doing that. And then, sorry, my dogs are barking. They will try and get involved. Anyway, and so the next question you ask yourself is, okay, how do we make them convert more? Whereas if nothing's written down, then we don't know where we're going. Like we just said, you don't know, you never know whether you're going to get there. And I don't like that because it means eventually you're going to start paying me based on how you wake up in the morning. I really don't like that. And so let's go on to the second part where you need marketing. A lot of businesses don't sort of realize that the mindset is everything. Again, we'll talk about this about 10 minutes ago, right? Don't come to me with a not ready product or service because nothing I do is going to save you and make it sell. In this country, in the UK, we have a term for it, right? You can't polish a turd. If you understand that, you can't polish poo because it's still poo, whatever you do with it, right? So don't come to me when it's not ready. Don't ask me to sell something that people don't want or need, or that can't help them. Like we've talked about in detail, the universe knows you're not ready. They know what you're selling is junk, and nothing I'm going to do. So maybe this is probably the first one I should have made from the beginning to answer your question, but I know why I left it number 3. Look, without customers as a business, you're going nowhere. If you don't sell, the only place you're going is bankrupt, poor, and closed. So marketing is the first, the second, and the third thing you need to make your business work. I say that sincerely. That's why I'm in marketing, because I genuinely believe I can make a big difference to small businesses who need this right support to sell. Because without me, you're going nowhere. You really are literally sunk. You can try and do marketing yourself. Of course you can. Bootstrap your marketing if you want. But the issue with that is that unless you know what you're doing, it's gonna take you longer to do it yourself. And whilst you're doing it yourself, guess what? You can't do your work. You can't do what you enjoy. You can't do what you're good at because you're doing what I'm good at. So like I say, you can do it yourself, but literally, unless people know you exist and they know how you can help them, in other words, that's what marketing does, they can't buy from you. You need marketing because it's everything in your business, everything. I'm sure other people in business will say the same thing. They're accountant, but they're useful for what they're useful for. But marketing is what helps you sell. If you don't sell, you're done.
Thank you for that. That is very important. And like I said before, we're going to come back again because there is a lot of things to talk about within this area: marketing, sales, content creation, and particularly the audience that you have made mention of, which is that you work with Nigeria businesses. We can never finish to talk about that. That is so important. So, of course, we are not going to do everything in one show.
Yeah.